Getting back at it here for Kansas Sports Chatter as we bring in our next guest for story time with KSHSAA Covered, and one of the staff writers. It is going to be Scott Paske joining us, and a variety of topics that we want to hit on. First and foremost, though, able to cover some golf, the Rusty Hilst Invitational golf tournaments. Before we get into some of those results that you're able to witness there, Scott, naming that golf tournament after Rusty, I got to know him through broadcasting, and you obviously had many years of knowing him as well, and just a great guy.
Yeah, we all miss Rusty, and the world's a little emptier place without him. He was terrific. Taught at Hutch High for a long time. Was the high school golf coach there for the Salt Hawks, and spent his summers working for the Kansas Golf Association, which is now Central Leagues Golf, going around the state and running junior tournaments, and just would love to know how many kids in the state have shook Rusty Hill's hand. I mean, he was just a perfect gentleman, great broadcaster. I mean, it was my grandparents lived in Hutch years ago, and spent a lot of spring breaks going to the NJCAA basketball tournament, and just can remember the drive from my granddad's house to the sports arena was always filled with Rusty's voice, and
Nice.
Yeah, it's one of those voices that take your Denny Matthews or those voices you've heard for a long time. Rusty was one of those, but I was really blessed to know him as on a personal level as well. And the golf tournament at Hutchinson at Cary Park every late April, early May is named after him now. It used to be the Hutch Invitational. It's the Rusty Hilst Invitational now. Started back in 1971 and just became kind of renowned for how big it is. It brings in about 180 golfers, 37 teams every year. This year you had the defending state champions in 6A and 4A and 2A there. So a good field, a lot of good golfers, and a tournament worthy of Rusty's name for sure.
He was one of the greats. All right, so what did you see at that invitational? What stood out to you?
Just some outstanding golf. I mean,
Yeah.
Rusty wasn't there, but if he had anything to do with the weather, he did a perfect job that day. It was a beautiful day. Started out a little chilly, but by the afternoon it was perfect, and there was some really good golf played. For Shawnee Mission East, the reigning 6A champion, ended up winning the team title, and they were led by their junior Stuart Bulware, who had an outstanding high school season last year, had a great summer, was a state junior player of the year last summer, and has just kind of carried that into this year. And he shot a 6 under par 66 at Cary Park, which tied an all-time scoring record. Cary Park moved from 5 under par to 6 under par this year for the first time, but that 66 score tied Brian Norton, who was an outstanding golfer at Salina Central back in the 1970s, played a year on the PGA Tour. So some rare company for Stuart to join there with his 66, and he needed every bit of it because one of your former guests, Regan Keeker from Wamego, was right on his tail with the 67 and played some outstanding golf himself. And Regan had played the Heston Invitational the day before and shot 67. So just an incredible week for Regan, who's going to try to help Wamego win a 4-state state championship in Class 4A this year. Stuart Bulware last year, he made the title clinching putt for the 6A title. So some really high caliber golf at that tournament, and a lot of other great golfers. Charlie Haney from Manhattan, Bishop Carroll and Capon finished second and third as a team. A lot of teams who are going to make some noise at the state level later this month. We're there at Hutchinson and put on a great show.
From what you've been able to see, just the results you followed and the events you've covered in golf, like in you can go wherever classification you want to go, Scott, but like, do you feel like there's like a dominant golfer in each one of those classifications that might run away with the state title, like the individual state title, or do you feel like there's a handful of them that you could kind of take your pick?
Yeah, what I've really noticed in high school golf here in recent years, and it just seems like the caliber of play, the caliber of scoring has really gotten. I don't want to say it's better than it's ever been, because there's always been good golfers. That you just look at the list of champions at that Rusty Hilst Invitational over time. That's a pretty good list for top golfers who've ever played at the state level here in Kansas. But this year, yeah, I think you can take some of these classes and like 4A with Keeker and Wamego. He's obviously going to be a candidate to win the title, or win the individual title at the 4A level. But Circle's got Anderson Helmer, who won the state title as a freshman. He's a senior this year, and is another one that can shoot scores that the parallel what Regan's been putting out this year, which has just been outstanding golf. So there's names on the spot are kind of hard, but I think there's a lot of classes. 6A is always a very deep class where if you want to win a state title, you better be in red numbers. That's just the way it's gonna be. And I think Bulwer and Shawnee Mission East really proved that at the Hutch Invitational. They played in a tournament called the 6A State Preview, which it was at Firekeeper, which is where the 6A tournament will be this year. And Shawnee Mission East shot 1 under par as a team at that tournament. So that's pretty good stuff. I mean, that you can look through the top scores throughout the years, and there's, it's not always under par that's going to win a state championship, but nowadays you might want to do it if you want one, because of the caliber of golf. I think the depth of the talent is definitely there right now.
Scott Paske joining us with KSHSAA Covered. Able to watch Mulvane baseball. How good is that pitching staff?
Oh boy, I'm telling you what, that it was my first look at them this season. I was long overdue to get out and see them here recently in a doubleheader at Wichita Collegiate, who's ranked in 3A, and Mulvane's the #1 team in 4A. And I thought just what I saw there, that's a very worthy ranking. I mean, they are, it's not that they're not coming out of nowhere with this. I mean, they had a good staff last year that went 21-5, made it to the first round of the Class 4A tournament. Returned Gray Sanders, who was signed with the University of Kansas, and Parker Clubb, who signed with Louisville. And then they picked up Hagan Warkins, who transferred over from campus and was the Ark Valley Chisholm Trail Division I Player of the Year last year for the Colts. So I think when you're looking at high school level baseball teams, especially 4A on down, if you've got any depth of pitching, you're a candidate to win. And Mulvane really showed that. Sanders is the one who just kind of jumps off the page at you. I think he's sitting through 20. Mulvane's 19-1 through their first 20 games there, and Gray is 6-0, hasn't allowed an earned run, has just allowed 5 hits in 31 and 30 and a third innings. And he struck out 16 against Wichita Collegiate, a pretty good Wichita Collegiate lineup, and he's got a great fastball, but he really mixes it in with a pretty devastating curveball for the high school level, and he can locate it all. Clubb was coming off some illness when I saw that doubleheader, so he just pitched 1 inning. He picked up a save in the opener against Wichita Collegiate. They beat him 6-5 in that game. That was a really good ball game, and Warkins was the starter in that game, and really ran into his first sign of trouble this season. He gave up 3 home runs in 1 inning to Wichita Collegiate. Kind of lost command of his off-speed pitches and really had to rely on the fastball. And Collegiate's a good enough lineup when they could pick on one pitch. They're pretty effective. But Warkins, he showed me a lot there, because he had it was a struggle for him in the second inning of that opener against Wichita Collegiate. But he came back with 4 really solid innings and shut Collegiate down and allowed Mulvane to rally to win. So that's kind of one of those feathers, one of those things that if you've gone through it, it'll help you down the road. And I think and Warkins, said after the game, I think that inning will definitely help me out. But yeah, Mulvane is they're trying to win their first state title in baseball in 40 years. Unfortunately, that mixes with my age, and I went to Augusta back in the mid '80s, and I can remember that baseball team at Mulvane that won the 1986 4A title had a pitcher named Morgan LeClaire, who went on to pitch at Wichita State and played on their College World Series championship team. So I was a golfer, never had to face him, thank God. But Mulvane this year is waking up the echoes of that mid 1980s. Wildcat team, and they really want a state title. And I think, with that pitching, they're armed and loaded to go for it.
That's what makes you so good. You got the history of decades, man. You got decades of history.
Brent Maycock, my colleague, always tells me I'm like Kevin Bacon, 6 degrees of separation. I've either lived somewhere or played against somebody, and can always pull that out. But Mulvane's definitely waking up the echoes for me from long ago. That's for sure.
One of the best. Hey, Scott, appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Cole. Enjoyed it.
That is Scott Paske with KSHSAA Covered. You can check out their work at KSHSAACovered.com.